Okay, space utilization, space, and generation factor formula standard. The Florida College purpose of the section provided the space utilization, space, and generation factor formula standards and used the Florida College boards when planning new and evaluating assisting educational auxiliary and ancillary facilities. It may be used to determine space needed to develop a program facility list and conduct educational plant surveys, writing survey recommendations, developing educational specifications, recording facilities inventory, and data in conducting space utilization. A WRH is workroom hours, RUR is room utilization rates, SOR, student station occupational rate, COFEE, capital outlay of the full-time equivalent student enrollment, WSH or COFTE, average work student hours per capital outlay for the full equivalent student enrollment. So you got your weekly study hours plus the COFT with the WSH, CFOFT, the UI utilization index reciprocal UIR, SS student stations. Here's the utilization formula. The workroom hours versus the room utilization rate for the student station occupation rate divided by the average weekly student hours per COFTE, or which capital outlay fully time equivalent student rate. Right, and second is a 1.1 utilization 1.0 utilization into the utilization reciprocal. The utilization index for the student stations revert to the co-FTE capital outlay full-time equivalent student enrollment. The utilization index reciprocal times the capital outlay full-time equivalent student enrollment equals the student stations. Classroom utilization standards for a for workroom hours, room utilization, and student station occupancy rate are follows: 440 by 1.0 and 6 by 0.60. The capital outlay of the full-time equivalent student at all included non-vocational, vocational. The work student hours per capital outlay full-time equivalent student enrollment is 12. The utilization index is 2.0, and the utilization reciprocal is 0.5. Using classroom utilization formula, the classroom utilizes the index of 2.00 multiplied by the given number of classroom student stations, including number of the COFT students, resulting number of the classroom stations will accommodate. Classroom utilization index of 0.5 multiplied by the given number of the capital outlay full-time educational students indicates the number of classroom student stations needed to accommodate the number of the capital outlay full-time teaching students. No, non-vocational laboratory utilization is a 330 by the RURR 100 on the student state occupancy rate is at 0.8. The capital outlay of the future technical education or equals non-vocational CFFT. The work study hours with the capital outlay of the future teaching the federal teaching education 6, the utilization index 4.0, the utilization reciprocal 0.25. Using the non-vocational laboratory utilization formulas, the non-vocational laboratory utilization index is 4.00, given by the number of non-vocational student stations, including non-vocational CFT students, resulting from the number of laboratory stations accommodated. Non-vocational laboratory utilized index reciprocal is 0.25 multiplied by the given number of the non-vocational CFT, indicates the number of non-vocational laboratory student stations needed to accommodate the numbers of COFT, which the COFT is a capital outlay full-time equivalent student enrollment. All right. We were at the next one. Non-vocational use of vocational laboratory utilization reciprocal of 0.5 of 1 of a half multiplied by the given number of the vocational of the capital outlay federal teaching and full-time educational students indicate the number of vocational laboratory student substations needed to accommodate the number of the COFTs. WHR weekly rooms hours RUR room utilization rate state student state occupancy rate (SOR), COFT capital outlay full-time equivalent student enrollment with average weekly student per hours per capital outlay full-time equivalent student enrollment. The national square feet, the student stations, and the NSF national square foot per student station, including the classroom, laboratory space, related spaces, and the square feet per CFOT. The needs of generation formulas, the NSFS national square feet by the workroom hours divided by the room utilization rate by the student occupancy rate equals the um, average work student hours per the capital outlay full-time equivalent student enrollment equal to the NSF COFT, the net square per capital outlay full equivalent student enrollment. The NSF SS average net square per student station includes the classroom, laboratory spaces related divided by the capital outlay of the full-time equivalent student rate by the times the capital outlay full-time equivalent student rate equals the NSF, which is the net square feet. The classroom needs a generation of the 4.40 by rural room utilization rate 1.0 standing occupational rate 0.6. The capital outlay full-time education, all for including vocational, non-vocational. The work student hours per capital outlay full-time education 12. The NSF, which is net square feet, divided by the NSS divided by the square feet in net square feet per student station, including classroom, laboratory spaces, related spaces. The NSF national square feet per capital outlay of the full-time education 13.50. The using of classroom needs of the generation formula. The NSF COFT of 1350 multiplied by the COFT for the given state indicates the approximately number of the NSF classrooms space categories needed to accommodate the COFT at the site. More laboratory needs using Nova and there's not very much. Those are the same abbreviations. This is CR classroom space category NL non-vocational laboratory, vocational laboratory, LS library study, AV audiovisual space category, audio exhibition space category, SCU student space category, physical education, OFC office space category, SUPS service space category, student sanitation facilities, staff public sanitation facilities, custodial facilities. And equipment and mechanical and HVAC equipment facilities, net gross square footage differences, general circulation, interior, exterior walls, opening, malls, roof, and opens. These come out of these equations. Library studies generation needs generation formula. Library study needs generation standards. Audiovisual needs for generation standards. Auxiliary auditory exhibitation need for generation formula. Student services needed by the needed standards. Student services space by the based on allotment per enrollment. The student standards of a 7.5 nets NSF for each COFT. Using student service needs a generation formula. The COFT has been given and multiplied by the enrollment of 7.5 NSF and indicates the total amount of NSF service space category. I thought that was the only interesting thing. Office needs generation standards. Service needs the generation standards. Non-assignable but needs the generation standards. And that is the rest of the book by space categories of Florida colleges. Determination of needs. Existing educational ancillary plans. Comprehensive outlay, a fixed outlay play. Survey and That's pretty much it. State requirements: educational facility, the Florida Department of Education Office, Education Facility 3025, West Kennedy Street, Tallahassee, Florida 32399-0400, Florida w.florida.org, Ed Facility 850 245 049 4.